here on Respawn in 30 on League Unlock. Eric and Mathos. And we talked about this the other day. Cloud9 sending Jensen, Smoothie, and Sneaky onto the Academy team. Not 100% sure why. There's a lot of theories going on. One of the main ones is Cloud9 announced a new partnership deal for streaming rights to their Academy League from their own channels. And wow, look at that. Now on the very first game that they have that new deal, you've got the most popular players on their team lining up to play in the NALCS Academy. And look at that. They won their first game. I'm sure the viewership was way more than you'd expect to see from an Academy team, because a lot of fans were, after seeing that announcement video, they're like, you know what? I'm not a C9 fan anymore. I'm a C9 Academy fan. And obviously, these guys will destroy the Academy League.
It seems like the weirdest shell game just to get people to care about something they never really cared at the expense of the one thing they did happen to care about. I don't necessarily know all the cogs in this particular machine, hoping that there's an end game that makes some kind of financial sense, but right now, this is a bit of a circus that didn't necessarily need to happen in the first place.
Yeah, and another one of the theories here is that Cloud9 is actually testing out the likes of Shiro and Blabber to go into their starting lineup. That's why they're bringing their 3-star guys in the Academy League to kind of test out playing with them. That doesn't make sense to me. Why wouldn't you sub out the likes of Licorice and Svenskeren if that's who you actually want to sub out? But this post-game interview, these guys seem pretty happy. They don't seem like they're upset about getting benched, so there's definitely something else that's going on here.
It's a ridiculous circumstance, to say the least. Also, you know, Academy teams, everybody's streaming it up. How many more of these guys are going to start throwing their big boys onto Academy teams just for the spark and fun and advertisement? Selling that merch.
It's all about the merch. Especially, I mean, these jerseys still go for like 80 bucks a pop, 80 to 100 bucks a pop. So they're nice, I'll give them that. But I fully expect those 3 guys, Sneaky, Jensen, and Smoothie, all to be lining up for week 2 of the LCS. It's the most competitive season ever. You can't just be putting in your subs and expecting to win games. They got to qualify for Worlds, man. They lost in quarterfinals. They don't have any championship points to sit on going forward. They got to perform well in the playoffs to make Worlds. So these guys will be back.
Fingers crossed, right? Because if not,
yeah,
you're going to be praying for relegation with teams making decisions like this.
I don't think Keith and Golden Glue are carrying these guys to the playoffs. So expect the main guys to be back for week 2. More Academy news. MikeYeung, who, you know, got a lot of criticism, as did the rest of TSM in 2018 spring. Well, TSM officially announced it was much more clean than what Cloud9 did. They said he's going to be splitting time with Grig in that starting jungler position, and MikeYeung made his debut on TSM Academy. They lost. Didn't go quite as well as it did for Cloud9.
It's unfortunate that wherever Mike goes, mishaps and mistakes seem to always follow this man wherever he ends up going, and especially getting your backbone out on an Academy team when you used to be nice on the main roster. Not the best way to start off a new blossoming career.
Yeah, and I think maybe it's just to kind of alleviate pressure from him. I don't know. Clearly he was nervous and dealt with it a lot in spring. Maybe this is some way for them to kind of help work with him, to have Greg sub in and out. I don't know. It doesn't seem like a great solution. Maybe he doesn't want to play these supportive guys, because, you know, Faker was playing Taric mid, which we're about to get to, but Bjergsen probably not going to be doing that. He's playing the carries no matter what. Let's talk about this Faker fiasco. I'm going to call it a fiasco because SKT is now 0-4 to start the 2018 summer split, and, you know, I wasn't going to press the panic button too quickly with them, but after their performances today, I'm pressing it already. It's week 1. We saw they struggled in spring, and Faker is playing Taric mid with Blossom on Master Yi. You're putting all your eggs in the Blossom basket to carry? That's absurd.
This is one of the greatest esports players of all time, and you are either financially destitute and can't buy someone remotely competent to support this man in any other role, or you truly are treating this man like a second-class citizen. Just because he can play everything doesn't mean you should be putting that to the test. Hopefully this loss quickly remedies this situation, because this is a damn travesty.
And Master Yi is a champion that he's played mid before. It's obviously something that he's comfortable on. Blossom, I have no idea, but just stick Faker in the jungle. I mean, he's basically just sitting mid getting farm anyways. And I mean, it's not that different for him when you're basically 2v2ing in that mid lane. Set him on the Yi, put Blossom on the Taric, but it's very surprising that SKT, I thought they'd rebound a little bit better, but they look lost, especially in this meta, so you got to be concerned if you're an SKT fan now.
1 step forward, 4 steps back at this point.
Yeah, it's scary for the 3-time champs. But on the other side, Gen G looks fantastic. Fly is performing out of his mind. He's got the LCK buff, or the NA training wheels are off when you're playing on FlyQuest. It's nice to go to a team like Gen G where, oh, your other laners are actually really solid. And Gen G looks like a legit contender without ambition in the lineup. The other matchup we had was Kingzone taking on Jin Air, and this set was just Khan going absolutely insane. First you had the Mundo, which is a completely busted champion right now, by the way. Look at how much he's tanking under the turret. He's completely unfazed. And then in game 3, the decider, he got the downright Darius and was dunking on some people. Kingzone still looks a little bit iffy right now, though.
I'm hoping that this entire run for Kingzone gets themselves straightened out, because getting pistol whipped early on is a great motivator to wake up and get your game together. Unless, of course, it's a sign of future defeat and then they just slip down this slippery slope and pain and suffering.
Yeah, I mean, after how they performed at MSI, maybe it's good for them to kind of get some lessons and get, no, I don't want to say beat down. They got beat down on day 1, but you know, not be as dominant as we saw them in the spring split, because yeah, maybe that was a little bit too easy for them, and then they really got tested at MSI, where they were getting clobbered by RNG in the finals, really, and didn't look very strong in the group stage. So, you know, get them testing and see how they can compete with the rest of these top-tier dogs, because, like I said, Gen G looks legit. Afrika, it's early on, but they're also looking legit, and let's not forget Griffin. We had some love for them preseason, thought these guys, all these rookies, could make playoffs in that final 5th spot, and with how much SKT is struggling, that's looking more and more likely. They got a nice 2-0 start, and this might be the end of the SKT era.
It is a mercurial at best meta, and a lot of these guys are still trying to find their footing in it, and definitely when you're making crazy, ridiculous decisions, like throwing on Faker in a support role, you're definitely experimenting. Obviously, these guys going from the standard play that they're used to into this quagmire of question marks is going to be a situation that they're going to have to sort out soon, and you know, they're professionals, so they should be able to get it done at some point.
And the main thing about this meta is people are saying it's very interesting to see all these fights and skirmishes early on. I know I didn't sign up for Taric Braum mid. I don't want to be watching 2 supports just sit there and feed farm to the junglers, because that's not as interesting as the strategic play that we've seen before. That's all the time for Respawn in 30 here on League Unlocked. Eric and Mathos, thank you guys very much for watching.